The type?
I mean, not Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Fucking damn it! What?
Damage control.
Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna try to straighten. I don't know what's going on. My screen is this big. All I see is your mouths, and that's it.
Huh.
Oh shit!
Okay.
He's just
Did
resetting.
y'all hear
stuff.
the fact that there is legitimately an argument when it comes to Roxanne Perez and the chicken nuggets?
Yeah, why were they in like a closed box?
One of the videos that I've seen is a skit, and the ending of it was wait, how long were these in the box for? Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Yeah. Give it 6.5 seconds, though. Blood's mic's gonna fucking act up.
Yep.
Oh, let's hope not.
Yeah, it always gets
No.
like glitchy every now and then.
Yeah, it started 3 weeks ago, and then it was fine the last time for the majority of the recording until the last like 10 minutes. Ah, there goes BT.
And there goes BT.
Get it out of the way now. Snug, how you doing?
I'm here, dude. I'm here finally.
Have you been all right? You don't got to share with us if you don't want to, but are you okay?
Well, we're on live now, so.
Oh, okay, we'll talk later.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys ready?
Yep.
You.
All right, you guys. It is Friday after SmackDown, the SmackDown before Saturday night's main event. And we are finally back after we took a little break from doing these show reviews, but it's good to be back. What's up, fellas? Welcome back. How are you guys doing? I missed you guys, man. I got to be honest.
We missed you too, mate. We missed you too.
But I needed to take a break from y'all crazy motherfuckers. No, I'm just kidding.
I am feeling good. I am honestly surprised at the fact that we got 6 matches out of this tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrestling on tonight.
I'm doing good. I earlier today booked a gig. I'm doing a voiceover work for a dude's online comic book shop, and he paid me in advance. I got another guy in my email working a business deal out to read and do his entire audiobook. So
hell yeah, doing some voiceover work. That's what's up, blood.
Yeah.
His Raymond Reddington shit on TikTok has been doing numbers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
he's
the
been-
hell started that?
You what?
Who the hell started that?
Oh, I've been doing that impression for years, but I started getting into it so much that I just figured, you know what? I have an actual fedora collection, a legitimate fedora collection that I never did anything with. That was in the top of my closet for years. I've never worn any of these. I just collect them.
Huh.
And I was like, well, I have the overcoat. I got this. I got the voice. Why don't I have the fucking green screen. Why don't I just make these like premium videos? And then people just started sending me their ideas and submissions for scripts. And I was like, fuck it. Perfect content. I don't got to go hunt for the content. You guys make me the content that I created.
Yeah. The scripts that these followers of his have been coming up with are fucking outstanding.
They're really beautiful. I got to, we're going to let it snug go in a sec, but I got really honored to, I got to read a guy whose mom passed away not too long ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Andy Seaman. And he honored me with allowing me to read the memoir that he wrote regarding the last day that she was alive and what followed after. That was a blessing for me. So it's been very rewarding in my opinion. But yeah.
That favorite one
that's
is the
beautiful.
conversation with the Joker. That thing was fucking great.
A lot of people like that one. But let's talk about the wrestling.
All right, let's do it, fellas, because like we mentioned earlier, there was a lot of matches, and 6 matches for a 3-hour show. It is a lot for a WWE program. But we're not going to get into it like we usually do it. We like to just talk about the most interesting things to us, at least, or what we think is the most interesting things. One of the most interesting things that we saw tonight was the return of the White Six in the main event of the tag team match of all places. They showed up and they came after the tag team champions and Fraxium, who was challenging for the tag team titles tonight. And I thought, yes, not only do we get the White Six back, we were wondering where they were, when they were going to come back. When is Bo Dallas' injury going to be over? And we missed the White Six. And I was really excited to see them come back, but they also came back in the tag team division. I have been complaining, we have been complaining about the tag team division on SmackDown, how it needed something more. They needed to do something more. Yes, they're having these crazy ladder matches, but I wasn't really feeling the tag team division. Maybe now we got the White Six mixed in with the tag team division. Maybe now it'll get more interesting. Not only that, but Alexa Bliss is also on SmackDown. And the White Six, they're called the White Six, but there's 5 people. Maybe they're going to add Alexa Bliss somewhere down the line. But things are getting interesting now that the White Six are back. Mr. Blood, what did you first think when you saw the White Six come back? And were you excited about this at all?
I actually haven't gotten to see it yet because the clips haven't gone up. But I can comment on it pretty easily. We all know Bo has been out with an injury since the end of last year. And unfortunately, you have sometimes in professional wrestling where when one member of a group gets injured, they all get taken off of TV. And then sometimes you get lucky, right? Where like when the New Day, they were rotating on injuries for a while, right? But they would always leave one of them in the singles division while the other was out injured. Or if all 3 of them before Big E went out, they would just become a tag team themselves while the other person was off healing and then made a surprise return. So it's the same thing with a very recent example, the War Raiders. When Eric went out with that injury, they left Ivar in the singles division for a long time until he got injured. So, and he was doing great. So it's one of those things where it's great to have him back, but it does beg the question, and it begs 2 questions. One, it's great that they're back. I'm glad they're back. I'm glad that they're trying to inject some new fuel into the tag division. But it comes just weeks before a reported draft happening sometime in June. So, are they going to be left off the draft, as is Alexa? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, well, I understand Bo was injured, but why couldn't the rest of them still be there as his conduit to keep telling these stories in the tag division? Because they have tag teams that they can chop up inside of that. Nikki could have still been in the women's division vying for the mid-card titles, in my opinion, and it could all be tied in through spooky shit. Now, the other thing is, even if he's injured, there are plenty of times where superstars are injured and they still come to all the shows, just as non-active competitors, valets, managers. I feel like Bo could have easily been doing that and kind of involved in stories without being physically involved in stories, but he could have been there helping them get told, and there would have been no reason to leave them off. I feel like there was a way around this. So for me, I'm glad that they're back. A little odd to bring them back now of all times, because Bo's apparently been okay for like a month and a half, 2 months now. So to bring them back right now was a little weird. At this point, I would feel like you should have just waited until the draft and let it be a surprise. Let them return on the night of the draft.
Just really quick, we got a couple comments I want to read off. Jay Beth Huggins says, happy birthday, Bray Wyatt. Today apparently was Bray Wyatt's birthday, which is another reason why they decided to bring him back today. And Jason, Yes Movement, says, Bo could have been on mic and manage.
Exactly. Now, also, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, beautiful soul. And if they brought him back today, if they were waiting for today, I can understand the sentimental reason for doing that. But at the same time, I don't understand the business reason for it. So unless you were going to make it a big deal that it was Bray's birthday and celebrate his memory and then have them return as a surprise, although it wasn't going to be a surprise because it was reported earlier in the day that the Wyatts were apparently going to be on this show. That being said, yes, Alexa is on the same show as him now, but it looks like she's in some kind of storyline right now with Charlotte. And as I said a couple weeks ago, I wonder if she's going to be the conduit to try to lead Charlotte into the Wyatt Six as well, or if she doesn't follow suit, they turn on her. Then we get an Alexa versus Charlotte program. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, again, interesting, but I would have waited to bring them back until the draft as a surprise. Maybe they're the last thing on the show. We go to, and the people getting drafted for you. Lights go out. And then their music hits. And it's like, oh shit, would have been a crazy pop. Insane reveal to end the draft. Because last year's drafts were bullshit, if you remember that. And they were boring as fuck. Coming in to attack the tag team champions, because they attacked Street Profits, correct? And they also attacked Fraxium. Did they physically attack Fraxium as well?
Fraxium, DIY, basically everyone else that was out there.
So here's the weird thing then. If they're a babyface stable, why go after Fraxium? Fraxium are faces, correct? Mm-hmm. So you'd think that when the Wyatts attack people, there's always an overarching message, right? There's usually a storyline like, you know, reason. There's a pattern to it. You abandon your family. You're this. And they go after those types of... What is the story to attack even the faces in this scenario? So I like it, but it to leave it this way, it leaves more questions than it answers. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing. So we'll see what happens.
I'm glad the Wyatts are back. It's been a while, and I've missed them. I've missed them. It's also nice that they're in the. What do I mean nice? It's great that they're in the SmackDown tag team division because, to be honest, it's the worst tag team division right now. NXT is even doing better than SmackDown. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm pretty sure I'm the one who called this. Or predicted this, that I think that any two of the Wyatts are going to be the ones to dethrone the Street Profits. I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said that, but I don't know.
It's possible.
In case I haven't said it, I think any two of the Wyatts are taking the titles from the Street Profits. But it's just nice to have them back. Even if they do get drafted to Raw again. Cool, but it's just amazing to have them back, and especially today, which, to be honest, even if it wasn't reported that they were coming, fans would still be like, oh, today's Bray's birthday, why not have the Wyatts come back? The fans still probably would have guessed it, so it's just amazing to have them back.
I guarantee you that is the reason why. They did it specifically for closure when it comes to Bo. Because I guarantee you, Bo was the one who pitched it. I would not be surprised if when it comes to the return, Bo was the one that went up to Triple H and went, hey, Bray's birthday is actually on a Friday. Let's do it then. A group that Bray Wyatt wanted to form fully before he died, that Bo took over the mantle for. Why not have us return on his birthday? And I get blood. I do get it when it comes to the business side of things. It makes no sense with that. But it was specifically for the feeling, with it being Bray's birthday, was the entire reason why they came back. That is why. When it comes to the match itself, the match was fun, I guess. I mean, it's Fraxium. It's what they do. They're quick. It's just how they are. Street Profits work smart, though. Going after them specifically because of their speed, using that against them. That was smart. And of course, they were going to do whatever it took to retain. I honestly would have done the same thing. I get it. Little bit upset that it ended in DQ because I would not have wanted it to end in DQ, especially since we have all since learned not to trust the copyright stuff. So the way I was thinking it would have happened is have the match end at a pin and then all of a sudden let the lights go out right as the copyright stuff is coming out. Kind of like they did with CM Punk's return at War Games. How they put up the copyright stuff only for us to hear the scratch. That honestly, I think would have fit better. Because it wouldn't have a really decent, honestly, tag match end in DQ. Especially for a title defense. With the Street Profits specifically, a group that, let's be honest, probably doesn't like disqualification endings when it comes to defenses. So I honestly would have had them return after the match instead of during it. But it works. Also, I just got a Twitter notification saying that Fraxium is terrified. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, so was
you really do
so was
not
Montez Ford.
Want to fuck with the Wyatt Six.
Montez Ford was over there. Montez Ford was over there praying and shit.
Yeah. It's like they're terrified of them, as they should be. As they should be. You really want to ask somebody why you should be terrified of them? Ask Chad Gable. I dare you. Ask Chad Gable and you will see. Yeah. What Toxic is holding up right now, if you're only listening to it, he is holding up a main event Jey Uso figure. Ask him. He full-blown said, you know what? They want the Fireflies back. Go ahead. I don't want to fuck with them. He literally said that. It is the fact that you absolutely should be terrified of the Wyatt Six.
I just saw the segment right now because I needed to basically get all the information, get all the stuff fresh in my head. Who said that SmackDown's tag team division sucks? Who said that? Tommy, you're a fucking dickhead.
Snug.
That was me. And I could have sworn it was.
That wasn't me.
I could have sworn it was all of us, but
what
hey.
the fuck is wrong with me? Damn it! Fuck!
No, Toxic was the one holding his hand up, not me.
Oh, we're all wearing fucking glasses.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
can't
one
tell
who
the
said
difference between
NXT
any
tag
of
team
them.
division is better than
I think
SmackDown.
I literally just noticed. We all wear glasses. I'm the only one wearing his contacts.
Yeah, I just said that. Anyway, yeah, whoever said that anyway, you're a fucking idiot. SmackDown's tag team division is probably the best thing that has gotten me engaged into SmackDown. The mid-card scene on SmackDown is much better than the shit that they're doing on Monday Night Raw. And that's a fact. NXT could use a little bit of work. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. The tag team division in particular on SmackDown is actually fucking entertaining. Maybe because I'm the only one that likes the energy that they have and the flip-de-doos and that. Look at me turning into an AEW fan. Fuck me. Anyway, the segment itself, the match itself, didn't watch the match, unfortunately. But the return of the Wyatt Six. I legit felt Bray Wyatt's presence as the lights went out and they showed their presence. I felt Bray Wyatt's presence as the Wyatt Six made their presence in the ring. Oh, that hit me hard. That hit me hard. The Sister Abigail on Gargano, I believe it was, at the end. The lights go out and the crowd launches the fireflies. And the birthday cake, bro. The fucking birthday cake in the middle of the ring. As Uncle Howdy screams, "My life for you," or some shit. I think it was something like that. And he blows the candle out. And then the fucking jump scare at the end. I fucking hate jump scares. I fucking hate that shit. I'm not a horror fan. I hate that shit. I can't deal with jump scares, but I can deal with horror themes and that, but I can't deal with jump scares. But yeah, rest in peace, Wyndham Rotunda. Happy birthday, mate. I know you'd be very proud of...
Did he just freeze?
Yes, yes, he did.
Fucking A.
In the middle of a heartfelt speech, too.
Yeah.
DT, if you can hear us,
how far the white...
There he goes.
Great.
Tom, it's all your fault.
It's good to be.
How is it my fault? How is it my fault?
It just is.
Hey, buddy. Can you hear us?
You were talking about the cake?
So the last thing we heard from you was it was about the cake, my life for yours, and then you said, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, freeze.
Right.
Like, I know you would be proud of.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
rest in peace. Okay. Let. Happy birthday, Wyndham Rotunda. I know you'd be very proud of how far your brother has come as Uncle Howdy. And when you see me, run.
Well, I didn't watch this fucking match either because I'm not a fan at all of this tag team division that we have on SmackDown. But I did see the ending. And I saw the birthday cake. I didn't really understand it. I had a feeling that, you know, it was some type of symbolism for something because that's all they do, right? Now, Mr. Blood, earlier you said, like, business-wise, you don't understand why they kept them off TV. And I think, like, part of the reason why they kept them off TV is even I was excited to see them return. And I think if they kept them on TV this whole entire time and then you just bring back Uncle Howdy, I don't think it would have had the same impact that they made tonight because they were all gone.
I agree with the impact of, like, just have, like, because it would have obviously just been, hey, Uncle Howdy returns to in-ring action for the first time in 6 months here tonight live on SmackDown. You know, like, I get it, but at the same time, it's a weird thing, right? Some people, some talents, some groups have this odd ability that they can go away for a year and they never lose their momentum, right? Becky Lynch, prime example, just returned just as hot as she was the day she left on the day she returns. The Rock could go away for another 12 years, come back, and they'll explode. Same thing with John Cena. Some people just never lose the momentum. They have you because they're so fucking over. They just got you every time. The Wyatts are a weird case where I feel like, in parts because of their presentation, in parts because of the mystery and mystique behind them, but also because of what they represent, and rest his soul, whom they represent, whom they exist for. I think in proxy to them being directly related to the character of Bray Wyatt and the man Wyndham Rotunda, they will always be over no matter what because of his memory and because they exist to honor his memory and continue his legacy. So I can also see the side where keeping them off TV doesn't affect their momentum at all, because you saw it tonight. They come back, crowd was fucking nuts. It was a great crowd tonight. So I can see where keep them off TV so they can always remain a package deal makes the most business sense. I can also see having them come back on a night like tonight is good for a sentimental sense and a feel-good sense. I'm okay with it either way. It just, in certain lights, I was like, I would have waited a couple more weeks, the draft. But having them back either way, they're going to get a pop regardless. So this is still good for business, period.
Yeah. And that was the other point, too, that I was going to make. Like, I'm a fan of, Bray Wyatt, and, the people were always going to love him, and his passing was unfortunate. But, like, Mr. Blood, you also said, like, these guys are always going to be over because of who they are, what they represent, who they represent. But even that, there's only so much that you can do of that. There's only so much that you can, like, dedicate to Bray Wyatt. After a while, even that's going to get old. No matter,
stand on 2 feet eventually. Yes, you're 100% correct. It'd be like if Cody just always only banked on the fact that his father is the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of the reason why some fans turn on him, because they feel like he only exists to bring up the memory of his dad. But Cody, for years, in my opinion, has always proven to stand on his own 2 feet. Because if you're going to say that, kind of feel like you can say that about every single second and third generation superstar, period, that are all Nepo babies, that all exist as a legacy continuance of their predecessor. And that's not fair. That's like saying Randy is only important because of Bob Orton. That's not true. His legacy is double and triple surpassed the career and legacy of that of Bob Orton, but he's still the son of Bob Orton. He's still I think, third generation superstar. So, because his uncle, but at the same time, it's like, eventually you've got to be able to go out there and go, hey, you know what? Best way to do it. Best way to put this. People act like Charlotte is only there and got good because of her dad. No, Charlotte got in the door because of her dad. She stayed because of her. And her hard work, her dedication, her passion, her athleticism. That's what kept her in the dance. So when it comes to these guys, they may be a legacy continuance of the thoughts and the emotions, the creativity of Bray Wyatt. But you are right. Eventually, Bo is going to have to stand on what Bo is great at. The rest of them are going to have to stand on what makes them great, because eventually when this group splits, and all things must end eventually, and this will too end at some point, and probably in the next year and a half to two, you've got to imagine. This only has a shelf life for so long. You can only keep a stable like this together for so long before it gets stale. Look at the Nexus. Look at the Bloodline. Look at the Shield.
Dude, even the Undertaker has fucking gone through changes, like the American Badass.
He had to. The whole reason he went to the American Badass is when he went out on injury, when he was still Ministry of Darkness Taker, he didn't want to come back doing the same thing because he felt like it was running its course. His own words. And he said, I want to come back, but I want to come back reinvented. Eventually, you have got to shake shit up, or you get left in the past and you just become a nostalgia act. And I don't want the Wyatts to be a nostalgia act in the memory of Bray Wyatt. So, yes, you are 100% correct. Eventually, we've got to see stuff that's not just there because it's Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I'm at that point already, and I love Bray. I'm a huge fan, but like like we already saw that in in their first run, like their first entire how long were they on TV? Like what, like 3 4 months or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
because they got taken. They a couple months. Then they got taken off because they didn't have a story. They were waiting on Alexa Bliss's return. We're pausing for that. That didn't happen. They brought it back a little bit. Then the injury happens, and they were off TV again. So this is technically their third emergence since they formed.
Yeah, like let's do something
So,
else now. Like let's we get
but the
it,
thing is, we
okay?
really haven't gotten much from them other than a feud with Chad. And when they came back, it was a feud over, I think, Chad again or tag titles or something like that. And that's the sad thing.
It was
Their
The Miz
second
and Karrion
run of
Kross.
Karrion Kross. That's who it was. And that right there, that's a sad thing. This is their third reemergence, and I already forgot what their last feud was. So you're right. We need a little something. If they're going to do this, they've got to do something different. You're right.
All right, cool. I'm glad we agree on that. Let's go back to the beginning because I wanted to start off with the Bray Wyatt return that happened at the end of the show, but I'm gonna backtrack to the beginning because Julia, who was announced was officially part of SmackDown last week, had her debut match in a Money in the Bank qualifying match of all matches. And boy, am I in heaven right now with all these fucking multi-person matches every single fucking day, it seems like. Um, but we had an interesting start with Tiffany Stratton coming out. Then she got interrupted by Alexa Bliss. And they had a nice little stare down. Alexa Bliss, too. I think this is the first time I've heard her cut an in-ring promo since she came back. And she sounded pretty good on the mic, I thought. She sounded genuine. She sounded like herself. She sounded like a grown, adult, mature person. She wasn't out there like doing anything goofy or silly, or not that I was able to tell. So that was good to see. And then Alexa Bliss gets interrupted by Charlotte Flair. And now we have Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Tiffany Stratton all in the ring, which I thought was really interesting. Charlotte Flair announced that she's never won Money in the Bank, but she's going for it. And I thought, holy shit, what if she actually wins it? Usually when Charlotte Flair says, I'm going to win, it's like a 80-20% chance that Charlotte Flair is actually going to win the damn thing. So the opening match was Charlotte Flair versus Julia versus Selena Vega. You have the Women's United States Champion. You have Julia, who just debuted. And you have Charlotte Flair, who's like the best fucking female wrestler on the roster, other than probably Tiffany Stratton. So it was one hell of an opening match. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. Julia ended up winning the match. She advances in this qualifying match. And I really like how they started this match because they did the thing with Io Sky when it was Rhea Ripley and Bianca, how Io Sky was a little lesser. They made her feel smaller compared to Bianca and Rhea. They did the same thing here with Selena Vega and Charlotte and Julia. I just want to see, just give me Charlotte versus Julia. I know Selena Vega is a United States champion, but I just wanted to see Charlotte versus Julia. That's it. Julia got the win, which I thought was I thought that was good. I was hoping for Charlotte just so I can see the people get mad at her again, but it was Julia. Toxic, what did you think about this?
I actually called this in the live that me and Tommy were watching for SmackDown because Snug wasn't streaming because he's taking a break. But I called that Julia was gonna win. I thought Charlotte was gonna take the pin, but it was actually Zelina Vega who took the pin. Um, it's good that Julia won because now being a new member of the SmackDown roster, it's good that she won because she can get that push and she can get more over as a heel or face or whatever the hell she is now because I genuinely don't remember anymore. She's confusing. But it's good that Julia won because it's I don't know. It's just I'm glad she won. She deserves it because let's be honest. Do we want Charlotte other than blood? Do we want Charlotte to win Money in the Bank? Hell no. Do
I
we
do.
want Okay, shut up, Snug. Do we want Zelina Vega, who has what, like one or two title defenses so far? Hell no. Not hating on her, but hell no. So I think it was a good pick for Julia to win, but I still think Charlotte should have taken the pin because then you could have a few more matches before Money in the Bank between the two, and that would put Julia more over. But I'm still fine with what we got.
First thing I'm going to say, quickly go back to the promo. I do love the fact that she found a way to slip in an almost exact quote to her first run. When she was talking about Charlotte, she did the whole "I am the queen" like shit, like she did in her first run, specifically with the promo that she did back in the day when she was just like, "But I am the queen. I don't need anyone else. I don't need anybody. But everybody needs a friend, even a narcissistic bitch like you." And that was specifically said to Charlotte, which I absolutely love that callback. Now, let's go to the match itself. Snug and Blood. I'm going to say, fuck you, the both of you, because this is what I'm going to say. I completely agree with Toxic, and I said this in the live that we were watching. Charlotte does not need another fucking title reign for a long time, let alone Miss Money in the Bank. She doesn't need it. She truly does not need it. Julia is definitely the one that needs the push. And I also said this during the thing. We were talking about who we thought was going to win. Toxic said Julia first. And then I also said Julia because of the fact that she just signed to SmackDown. So obviously, she's the one out of the three that needs the push the most to make her look more legitimate, especially after the loss that they just took to Io Sky and Rhea Ripley.
No, you're right. You're right, Tommy. Give me a second, real quick, because no, you're right about that. But also, Selena Vega is the Women's United States Champion. I thought for sure.
And
I thought for sure if anyone was gonna eat this pin, it was gonna be Charlotte. I mean, I'm like, you can't beat the person that's debuting, but you can't beat your newly crowned Women's United States Champion. But I guess they got bigger plans for Charlotte.
Yeah, I do get that. And I do think that they do have bigger plans for Charlotte via the conversations that she's been having backstage with Alexa Bliss.
Mm.
That has to mean something. We don't know fully yet, but there has to be something there. There just has to be. And when it comes to Zelina Vega, I get it. I get your thoughts on that you really don't want to pin your United States champion. But here's the thing. My mind keeps wrapping around one specific cash-in. Austin Theory.
What
What
about
if
it?
they pull back with the women's?
explanation?
He cashed in on the United States title. He is the only one to cash in on a mid-card. And I get it. I get it. I'm going to get backlash for that. I know for a fact that I am. But think about it. They have pulled the trigger on it before, although it was under Vince's control, because there was bigger plans for the world title, so he couldn't really cash in on that. But still, just imagine how it would be if Julia ends up getting Miss Money in the Bank. Zelina Vega still has the United States title, and she ends up cashing in on Zelina and getting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
a
know I'm going to
possibility.
get for that, but still. Just imagine the pop.
Very likely. Go ahead, BT.
I didn't see this match because fuck the women's division on SmackDown. It's the most boring division on SmackDown. That's what's boring on SmackDown for me. What the women are doing. The tag division stuff is fine, but what the women have been doing, the Chelsea Green and fucking Zelina Vega stuff, it's boring. It is. It's starting to get... I think Chelsea Green is getting... Her gimmick is getting very repetitive and a bit on my skin recently. Getting a bit annoying. But, yeah, Julia randomly hopping on SmackDown. Saw it coming because she legit said to Roxanne that she's done tagging with her off air, off, not on Raw, off air. We saw a backstage interview with Roxanne and Julia. That's how that happened. But Julia winning, heading straight to a Money in the Bank. Very interesting choice. Pinning Zelina Vega, your newly crowned champion, as a debutante. You have no idea of the expectation you have now just put on Julia. Because you have just soared, sent her on a rocket. Unintentionally. Yeah, I think this whole thing was booked terribly. They booked themselves in a corner yet a fucking again. And I think this was just a horror movie. This was a horror movie.
As far as the segment was concerned, leading into the match, I agree with you, Snug, that felt like I haven't heard Alexa cut a normal fucking promo in eons. And it was nice to have her back on her game because she was always a great shit talker. And Charlotte getting that mega heat, which starting to feel like a lot of go away heat, but screw y'all. That's, to me, go away heat, some of the best kind of heat because it's legitimate, real heat. And if there's one thing you want in professional wrestling is genuine feeling. I gotta say, and I'll say that I'm finally gonna just put the nail in the coffin on this and say this. I just don't buy Tiffany Stratton as a champion. I don't like her as champion. I'm not even a fan of her in ring. She's decent, but she's greener. She's as green as turtle shit sometimes, and it really shows. And I'm gonna really say something y'all ain't gonna like, and I'm gonna get shit for this if this gets clipped. I hate listening to Tiffany Stratton talk. I hate listening to her cut promos. I hate it. I hate her voice. I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a really sweet person in real life. Character-wise, I hate that shrill, preppy, because it's Tiffy time. I hate that shit. I'm from Florida. Leave that shit on the fucking West Coast in California where it belongs.
Hey, whoa.
Snug, you can tell me right now, you know at least 20 Tiffany Strattons in person. So, high pitch, highly over preppy, beauty pageant fucking, like, everything they fucking say has got to be at an octave hitting the ceiling. And it's grating to listen to her talk, especially when you have someone who talks low pitch like Charlotte, medium pitch like Alexa, and then you have this super contrasted fucking high pitched sound in a microphone. It's literally how I feel. Like, I love Nia, but when Nia opens her mouth sometimes, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Too high pitched voice, because now they're like, I'm Nia Jax. Okay? I'm the monster of the women's division, and you girls can't handle me. Like, it's the same thing. It's like, bro, oh, that's your voice. Just shut up and wrestle. You know, like, I hate this because, and I'm going to get some shit for this, but y'all can kiss my ass. I hate the women's title program on SmackDown because Tiffany is the champion. I don't like her at all, period. I'm sorry, I don't. The only reason she got through that match at Mania is because Charlotte was carrying her 80% of the time. And as far as I'm concerned, half the time her timing is off when she wrestles, or the people she's wrestling with are off time. She doesn't feel like she has chemistry with anybody in the ring she's ever in the ring with. Because every match she's in, there's a botch or there's nearly a near miss fucking fatal accident that fucking happens with everybody she wrestles with, whether it's her fault or their fault. I never get into her matches because I'm like, is this the time she's gonna fucking break her arm? Is she gonna get dropped on her head? I watch her wrestle and I worry about her. I don't like that. But I can't wait till she loses this fucking title. I really can't. As far as concerned, I thought the match, man, booked into a corner and then you closed the corner in with like trash cans. Like, you went in the corner and then you barricaded yourself in the corner. Here's an easy solve. Don't put Zelina Vega in the match. Why does your fucking mid-card champion, newly crowned mid-card champion for the women's division, need to be in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank to be a world champion? She's already got a fucking title. You know who I saw on the show tonight that could have been in that match in her place for fucking pin fodder? Candice LeRae. And as far as I'm concerned, your champion should, I don't care if you're trying to make Julia look strong. Why are you making the newcomer whom you can't even decide what fucking side she leans on, face or heel? Because you're right, it's confusing. Did she turn babyface when she rejected Roxanne, or did she stay heel and just go, hey, I'm a better heel than you, I don't need you? Don't fucking know. We haven't heard her cut a promo to figure out where she is mentally. So that's confusing. So we don't even know the dynamic of the match. Is it one face against two heels or two faces against one heel? Like, what the fuck's going on? So, and for me, why on earth are you sacrificing your champion's credibility by having her eat the pin from a newcomer who just came up from the developmental brand? Okay? Your main roster veteran champion just ate a pin from the developmental talent call-up. If she had pinned Charlotte, I'd have been even more mad. Not because I love Charlotte. Charlotte is a future Hall of Famer, the record holder for the most women's championships in history. That woman eating a pin from a developmental talent in WWE lore, we know she's world-renowned everywhere else, but here, this is WWE. This ain't everywhere else. Having Charlotte eat the pin would have been the only thing that made sense in this match, and it still would have been the wrong call. To get her a win on Charlotte that quickly on free TV would have been a horrible decision. That is a win you save for a massive PLE after a story build. Case in point, you didn't let Tiffany beat Charlotte until WrestleMania. So why on earth would you let Julia beat Charlotte on free TV, right? So then you're forced to have her beat your champion in a division on free TV when you had fucking her win it on free TV just a few weeks ago, instead of putting it on Mania, where it could have been won for a much bigger moment. Here's the fix. Take Zelina out, put Candice LeRae or whomever else is enjoying nice catering in. Have them eat the fucking pin. Or if you have to pin Charlotte, if you absolutely have to, have it be in a way that protects her in the finish. Either she got hit with a big move or something, or it was a surprise roll-up because of a distraction from Tiffany Stratton, something that protects Charlotte eating the pin in the finish. Or here's the better idea, just have Charlotte win. Or just have Zelina win. Have Zelina, hell, if Charlotte wins, Charlotte pinning Julia makes hell of a lot more sense than Julia pinning your fucking champion or the legend in the match. And I don't care how much y'all hate Charlotte. If you're going off of, you're saying, oh, Charlotte should have lost and gotten pinned because I don't like Charlotte, then you're not thinking like an actual wrestling analyst. You're just thinking with your fucking head or your heart here, not your head. Listen to real logic here. What logic is there to have the new developmental talent come up and pin Charlotte fucking Flair or your champion in her first fucking match? This is not Paige getting a surprise roll-up on AJ Lee on her first call-up, okay? This is Julia, who's already been debuted on the main roster for a couple of weeks, and you have her pin a champion. Okay, if that's logic, should have just had Joe Hendry pin Randy fucking Orton at Mania.
Okay, I think we're reaching here.
Better yet.
No, but again, you're talking about a guy in the business pinning a legend, an active legend like Randy Orton, one of the highest ranked fucking title holders in history, first ballot Hall of Famer, in his own home turf, right? Julia just fucking got here. They haven't been able to figure out what to do with her since she got to NXT last summer.
Hold on there,
but
Mr. Blood.
She's pinning a champion on the main roster.
Give me a second real quick, Blood. Go ahead, Toxic.
So going off of Mr. Blood's logic that Zelina shouldn't even be in the match. So Jacob Fatu should not be in the Money in the Bank qualifying match.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're gonna talk about that next.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't because what's the point? Exactly, he shouldn't. But I'm just saying, going off of your logic, it doesn't really make sense why Zelina and Jacob are in the matches, in the qualifying matches, when we already know Jacob Fatu is going to destroy whoever he's stepping in the ring with. So, my bad.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more here in a little bit when we get to that.
But you make a great point. It goes to the overall fact. Why are your people who are already crowned champions vying for a contendership for another title? Give other people a chance. You've got an over-bloated roster, half of them sitting in the back eating catering. Give someone else a chance.
I just still don't understand the point of putting the Women's United States title on Zelina Vega. Like, based on what I've seen so far, I don't even think WWE sees her as a real champion because...
They don't. I guarantee you it's a demographic thing because WWE is all about analytics. Hey, you know what? We're kind of low in the Puerto Rican demographic or in the Spanish demographic. Have we had a Spanish champion in a long time? Well, we were going to put on Raquel and then she got injured. Well, people like Zelina, right? They like her.
Yeah, and the way that they sized her up in the match when, she was just kind of just like the third wheel and the main focus was Charlotte and Julia and Zelina Vega was just there. And then there was also a backstage segment with Chelsea Green walks up to Zelina and just towers over Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green is just kind of just like, you're nothing. Just whatever.
Again, like I said a couple weeks ago, they're trying to make her a female Rey Mysterio-esque character, the tiny Spanish underdog who can win with the heart and the gumption that it takes to win when her back's against the wall. That's how they've been booking her for 3 years.
Yeah, she's been champion now for today marked 1 month of Zelina Vega as Women's United States champion. And I mean, has it been an interesting title run? I don't think so.
No, it's barely been a run. And look, we're not knocking Zelina. Zelina has a great crowd connection. She is a great performer. But if you're putting her in the ring with a ring general like Charlotte fucking Flair and a quote unquote newcomer developmental, who's also proven that she has the ability to be a master ring general someday in her own fucking rights and is quite the technician. Zelina Vega is not even close to their level. I'm sorry, she's not.
No, she's not. Let's go BT and then Tommy and then we'll move on.
If we're gonna have the energy of Julia pinning Zelina, who is a crown champion, can we have the same energy for Fraxium pinning the Street Profits on their debut match?
Oh my god, I'm so
SmackDown
glad you brought that up.
Against Street Profits, newly crowned tag team champions.
Before that, I believe they had like 1 or 2 matches before that.
Well, they're still fucking new teams from a developmental program, are they not? So if we're going with that logic, where's the energy for that?
I'm so glad you brought that up, BT, because I forgot to bring this up. Even after tonight, because the Y6 return, Fraxium is still undefeated. They have not been pinned in the main roster. They're still 4-0. They're getting pushed to the moon. Fraxium is right now, which I think is crazy.
And the team that they beat, one of the teams that they beat were the crown champions in the Street Profits, who hadn't at the time probably hadn't even held the title for like a month.
Right, but I think the reason for that is, if you remember correctly, a week before Axiom defeated the Street Profits were in that really crazy ladder match. So they were still selling a lot of the injuries from the ladder match, and that's how they were able to get the upper hand on the Street Profits.
Yeah,
but
it
still,
basically was a way to protect them in the finish. If you're gonna have, and I said this, if you're gonna have somebody who is new or trying to get over, pin a crowned champion on, and again, you got to understand analytics of pro wrestling, guys. Free TV. The whole reason pay-per-views exist is so you can charge money for people to see the big win, not give it away unless you are really trying to pop a rating out of nowhere, like Io versus Rhea, where it was a surprise. No one thought Io was beating her that night. So it's one of those things where if you're going to do it, you have to protect them in the champions need to be protected in the finish. You can't call everything a fluke. So there needs to be a reason the champion was able to lose. Not just fucking pin them clean for no fucking reason, because it dilutes their championship reign. It's free TV. That means something in analytics. It means something to a viewer going, oh shit, they must maybe they don't believe in Zelina as much as I thought they did. They just pinned her on SmackDown in an opening match. Like, that's what your brain goes to.
I don't think they do. Tommy, anything else you want to add?
I know we brought up Chelsea Green, which is why I'm saying this, and this drives me insane. The first women's match you're going to add onto the Saturday night's main event card, you're adding the night before Saturday night's main event?
Oh, what they add? I didn't even see that.
Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the United States title.
Oh, I hope Chelsea Green wins it back. Oh, I hope she wins it back.
Before the basic house show is essentially what the damn thing is, but a premium live event nonetheless, you are adding the only women's match the night before?
What's wrong with that?
If I'm Zelina Vega, I'm fucking worried that, hey, you had me eat the pin last night. If you put that title, have me drop that title back to Chelsea the next night, 2 back-to-back losses in 24 hours, and one of them is a championship loss, and one of them is losing to a new up-and-comer, I'm wondering if you got a problem with me, and if my contract's getting released here pretty soon. That's what I'm going to start thinking. What the fuck did I do wrong?
If I'm Zelina, I'm grateful I even got to be champion for a month.
I am looking at it in this way. That when it comes to SmackDown and the women's division, that is legitimately the amount of confidence they have in the women's division when it comes to SmackDown. Almost none, to the point where they waited to put a SmackDown match in the women's division until night before the premium live event. Literally the night before.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's a problem for you, Tommy.
I mean, they've done that many times, though, Tommy. To be fair, there are many times where they've been like, you know what? Screw it. You want a match tomorrow? You want a match? Fine. Then it's on YouTube one-on-one at yada, 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 tomorrow night. It's official. Like, they've done last-minute booking matches.
Yeah, I feel like whenever we have a...
that new.
What drives me crazy.
But it's I
understand,
understand,
it was almost
but it's not a PLE.
Hold on, one at a time. Go ahead, Tommy.
It's not a PLE, though. That's the thing, Tommy. It's not a PLE. They've made it clear that they have made it very clear after the first time they brought it back last year. Saturday night main events are not PLEs. They are TV specials. They do not consider them PLEs. They're
and also,
specials.
just really quick, even if it was or it wasn't a PLE, I feel like we usually wait. We usually say, okay, we have a Raw and a SmackDown coming up. They might still add matches on those two shows before the weekend pay-per-view. So I'm not surprised that they added another match last minute.
What made me crazy is not the fact that it was a last-minute decision. I get that. It's mainly the fact that it was almost an all-male card before this match came in.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they added it.
Yeah. People would flip out about that.
No, Jermaine Soto, during this match, he flat out mentioned that it was almost an entire male card. It's just like, oh, here's the last match on the card, and it is the only women's match on the card.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because it's the only match that already has a story for the women's division, quote unquote, fleshed out, built for it. That's why they threw it on there. They're still cooking everything else. So they were like, hey, Zelina, hey, Chelsea, y'all have been feuding for like a month and a week. You're on tomorrow night. Like,
yeah.
No, I mean, to be fair, Zelina Vega has been feuding with Chelsea Green and her crew the entire time. So it wasn't just thrown together last minute. They've been
almost their entire United States title reign.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green. Chelsea
Green has only been wrestling the Piper Niven and the other girl, the Secret Purvis or whatever they're called.
Secret Purvis or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah. Alba Fire. Yeah, so this isn't just like, oh, let's just throw it in there. I would have been okay if they left it out of Saturday night's main event, to be honest. I was cool with just those 4 matches, but in the year of 2025, you can't do that.
The internet keyboard warriors. Yeah, such a sexist company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you guys probably are right that the only reason why they added it is because of the fact that it was an all-male card beforehand.
All right, let's talk about, let's move on here. I want to talk about the Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and JC Mateo. That's so fucking weird. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, but I'm not really a fan of that nickname. But yeah, we finally heard some of Jacob Fatu's feelings when it comes to Jeff Cobb joining Solo Sikoa and their group. Jacob Fatu let it be known, you're not family. I don't know you. I don't trust you. And, you know, that pretty much tells me Jacob Fatu, Jeff Cobb, he's not going to be presented as like another Samoan, another family member, part of the bloodline. So they made that clear tonight. And there's tension between Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb. Could these two get along? Well, we were supposed to find out because they were going to have a tag team match versus Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso, which was one hell of a tag team match. And right before the match, Solo Sikoa was trying his best to get these two on the same page. And it looked like Jacob Fatu wasn't really having it. They walked to the ring, and on their way to the ring, they stared down the Street Profits. And I'm thinking, okay, now that's a match I would like to see. Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb, or JC Mateo, versus the Street Profits or versus any other tag team for that matter. So we go on to the match. The tag team match was great, and they did. They ended up working well together, Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb did, which that can be bad news for the tag team division. Jacob Fatu is already a monster by himself. Jeff Cobb, he's also a monster. If they build up Jeff Cobb the way that they build up Jacob Fatu and they put them together in this tag team, holy shit. That's going to be one fucking crazy tag team if they can get along. So they're still kind of in the middle of, are they going to get along? Maybe not. We'll see. But they got the win tonight over Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso, who also worked really well together. Jimmy Uso being in a tag team for many, many years, he pretty much works well with everybody. It was one hell of a tag team match. And then after the match, we saw another segment where Nick Aldis announced that Jacob Fatu is going to be part of the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So we saw a whole lot of the United States champion, Jacob Fatu. We saw a whole lot of Solo as well as Mateo, JC Mateo. So I'm really pumped for what's happening here with Jacob Fatu and all of this. But what did you think? Who's up? I believe we got Tommy, right?
Yeah, it's me. So I will say, and I do love this little thing. During that backstage thing, Jacob finally said, "I love you, Solo." And I love Solo's response of, like, only took 6 months. Like, I laughed a little bit at that. And just, like, sad part is he's not wrong. He's really not wrong. It took him 6 months to say that again. And with the announcement that Jacob will be going up against Carmelo Hayes, and I cannot remember for the life of me who the third guy is. But I know it's Jacob, Carmelo, and someone.
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's clear that Jacob is going to win that, which makes me think, is it going to happen at Money in the Bank?
What?
We have been talking about this turn. And if both men are in the Money in the Bank match, is it going to happen at Money in the Bank?
You're talking Solo winning and cashing in on Solo?
No, I'm talking about if Jacob Fatu wins next week to qualify for the Money in the Bank match, like Solo has already done. Is Money in the Bank going to be the moment where Solo decides or Jacob decides, fuck it, and just turns?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, think so.
This is for a title match anytime they please.
Yeah, I mean that's assuming Jacob Fatu even wins.
He's going up against Carmelo Hayes and someone I can't even fucking remember. He's gonna smash right through him. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
it's Jacob
we'll
Fatu who still has yet to be pinned, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
So my guess is he's still gonna smash right through. And he will qualify for the Money in the Bank. I almost guarantee it at this point. The match itself. It was more of, hey, here's another tag match featuring Jimmy. I'm glad that Jimmy isn't, like, too injured from his last injury. Like, I know he just had a match last week for the Money in the Bank qualifying. against Solo. But I will say this. It was a decent match. I probably would not put it as match of the night. Honestly, I would say it's up there. But I would not say match of the night. I just wouldn't. I also love the fact that, and Joe Tessitore did call this out, Solo still trying to entice Jimmy in. It's like, hey, you can still come home. Just join me. You can still come home and come back to the family. Just join me. The fact that he's still trying to do that, even though it's highly clear that Jimmy Uso is not coming back to the family. He's just not. He's not going to join Solo. He's just not. But I just love the fact that he's still trying to entice him in. Because it truly shows how much he desires Jimmy to be into the group, even though he knows that that's most likely never going to happen. It's just not. He wants it so bad, but it's not going to happen. And I love that.
With Jacob most likely qualifying for Money in the Bank next week, and Solo Sikoa basically being in Money in the Bank, I just came up with a prediction, but it also ties in with LA Knight qualifying for Money in the Bank, which happened tonight. And LA Knight has recently been stuck in the Bloodline vortex. What if Solo turning on Jacob or Jacob turning on Solo helps LA Knight escape that vortex, because they'll be focusing on each other, and that gives LA Knight a chance. I'm not saying he's going to win the briefcase, but a chance to get the briefcase. He may not win it, and I'll be fine with that. But it gives him some fresh air to try to win it. My heart fully believes, depending on who's going to be announced for the qualifying matches for Monday Night Raw, that Karrion Kross needs to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I want to see that happen, because recently I've become a bit of a Karrion Kross fan. But if they pull that angle off during the Money in the Bank match, if Jacob qualifies, that is, you have no idea how excited I would be. You have no idea. You have no fucking idea, bro. I would lose my shit. I'm not saying LA Knight's going to win it, but just this minuscule chance could break him out of that Bloodline vortex for good. That's my hot take. That's my prediction. I'll leave it at that.
So as far as concerned, like, match was pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's match of the night. I think match of the night was definitely the LA Knight. I think LA Knight, Shinsuke, and Aleister Black was match of the night, in my opinion. But this was still a really good match. And again, I've said this before, a crowd makes or breaks a show, in my opinion. And this crowd I think made this match better than it would have been with a lesser crowd. But I think that the match was good. I like that they keep, putting in those seeds of dissension between Solo and Jacob, keep telling that story. I like that the JC Mateo thread is adding new layers of dissension. I hate the fucking nickname, but I think the reason they called him JC Mateo and not Jeff Cobb is because I'm trying to remember if Tommy said this or somebody said this, but Jeff Cobb just sounds too close to Jacob. Jeff Cobb, Jacob. They probably wanted to put their own WWE spin on it so they can own his name for licensing. Is probably why they changed it, so they can own the name that he's utilizing. So it's synonymous with them. That being said, JC Mateo, it's not a mouthful, but it does not roll off the tongue. I'm sorry. It's a terrible fucking, drop the last name. Call him JC or call him Jeff Mateo, call him Cobb, whatever. Or just call him fucking Jeff Cobb. That being said, the right team won. I just wished it would stop being at the expense of Jimmy. Really sick and tired of Jimmy kind of being on the short end of a lot of these fucking sticks. That being said, the more and more I see Jimmy wrestle without Jay, the more I feel like he's coming into his own. So I'm very happy to see Jimmy getting the spotlight so he's not just the Marty Jannetty. You know what I'm saying? Because when Marty Jannetty and Sean split, Jannetty backslid into obscurity very quickly, and I'm glad that Jimmy is getting to still stay in the spotlight, still getting to be a part of stories, still getting to be used, because he deserves it after all the effort and work he's put in this company for fucking 15 plus years. When it comes to how this affects Money in the Bank specifically, I changed my stance a little bit on what I said the last time we were on a live together, where I said I definitely think the next thing we need to do with LA Knight is have him in Money in the Bank, and then move him closer to the world title picture. I stand by that, even though I said I don't think he should win. The closer we get to this thing, and after tonight, I think for certain two things happen. I think Solo and Jacob squabbling over who's going to climb the ladder is for the family. You already got a title. Let me. I brought you into this. You owe me, from Jacob. And from Solo. And Jacob's going to be like, man, like he's going to be doing this whole thing. All gas, no brakes with it. I don't owe you shit, yada, 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 yada. If it's for the family, why does it matter who wins, kind of thing. I think that's going to be enough of a distraction where they do turn on each other in the match, because it is all in all. I don't think it breaks them up that night, but I think it leads to the further conversation of when they do eventually split, and it'll definitely be a thread we get that next SmackDown. But I think they're going to take each other out and bah, 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 yeah. I think LA Knight's winning that briefcase now. After seeing this, I can see why Jacob and Solo are enticing for storyline purposes, but I think that's a MacGuffin to distract from the fact that I think that's going to be LA Knight's night. So, because the way I see it, the longer I think about the Cena title run, and the longer these stories circle around without him around, and when I really think about, the person who beats him needs to really benefit from it. I really do not believe Cody needs to win it back from John. I don't believe he needs that. I think John needs to put over somebody new, and somebody who's going to really benefit from the win, who already has built-in character and story with him. And I think these matches tonight really helped paint that picture, because I think, this is just my take, and pardon me when I say I told you so, if it happens, mark my words on this night, I said it. If it happens, I think LA Knight is the person cashing in and taking that title off of John Cena. I think John Cena drops that title to LA Knight. I truly believe it now. The closer we're getting to Money in the Bank, there's just something I feel it. I feel it. And I feel that Jacob and Solo's stories are intertwining with LA Knight's ascension. So those are my thoughts.
I agree with everything that Mr. Blood said, but there's a small problem. Remember last year I always said, "Oh, it's gonna be Jay. Jay has been the one that's like, oh, he's been the hottest right now in this match." And then McIntyre fucks him over. That's what we're thinking about with LA Knight right now. We're thinking, oh, he's the one that deserves it the most. He's the one that's the most over right now in this match, like going into this match. But there's just going to be someone that fucks him over. And I highly assure you it's either one of the up and coming um, people from Raw that qualify or Solo or Jacob.
Here's the reason I think that when I say LA, it's for a whole other reason. Triple H's booking has a certain pattern to it. He knows how to build stars, but he has this habit of capitalizing on them a little too late. And 2 years ago, he missed the mark capitalizing on LA. And he finally capitalized and pulled the trigger on Jay this year when he could have done it nearly 2 years ago when they first brought Jay to Raw. That's why I have a feeling it's LA. He knows that he missed the train on that one, and now the train's coming back to the station. And I think LA Knight's getting on because Triple H knows we want a champion that has crowd connection, built-in merch, built-in relations, great look, great body, and he's not getting younger, so why not?
But anyways, away from the negative side, I think it's LA. I think it's if it's not LA, Triple H could pull a Jey Uso. Like Jay lost the Money in the Bank last year, so close but lost it, and then won the next year's Royal Rumble. I could see not LA. I could see Triple H pulling some bullshit like that, and then just waiting too long to pull the trigger on LA Knight, or third time's the charm. That this is LA Knight's third Money in the Bank match. Third time's the charm. He could do it this time. So I'm on board with whatever Blood said.
Hey, BT, you'll enjoy this wording. I can see the headlines now. It'll be LA Knights, Los Angeles Night. I can see the headlines now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with LA Knight. But one thing's for sure that Mr. Blood was right is, we were wondering what's going to happen with LA Knight after, what was it that we were talking about? I think the last time he had a big match, he lost. And we're like, what happens with him? Well, he's going to go into Money in the Bank, and that's what they're doing. But I want to talk about this next thing right here was one of my favorite things that happened tonight, and I'm talking about the R-Truth promo. I got to defend this, you guys, because R-Truth, he's been getting some heat from some of the fans. Oh, how is this joke comedian wrestler going to be facing John Cena at Saturday night's main event as one of the matches of, John Cena's farewell tour? And yes, R-Truth has been a comedy joke wrestler, 500-time 24/7 champion, 7-Eleven, whatever he used to call himself, right? But the people, we love R-Truth so much, and we can believe that R-Truth is heartbroken. We can believe that R-Truth, he's, he misses his hero, like he says it tonight. He's pretty much representing all the little kids that John Cena has been talking shit to. I feel like, he's serious. This is a serious R-Truth, and I'm with it, man. Like, this kind of reminds me of like, this is like the modern day version of Eugene. I feel like, you love Eugene. I mean, for the people that remember who Eugene is, you can't not hate him. And that's how I feel when I see R-Truth. I genuinely feel bad for R-Truth. So I really want to see this match because I can get behind R-Truth, and I want to see like what's gonna happen with this match. But I really enjoyed this promo by him tonight on SmackDown. BT, you're up this time, I believe. What did you think about the R-Truth promo?
I loved it. I loved it. And for the people who say that R-Truth shouldn't be wrestling John Cena, you just don't fucking understand entertainment. You're just a boring son of a bitch who just can't fucking enjoy anything. Where does this hatred come from? The same guy that makes us laugh our asses off every single fucking time, every single fucking week. I hear you motherfuckers praising this man, that he should be protected at all costs. And this is how you treat him? Because John Cena's your favorite. Go fuck yourselves. As far as it's concerned, sorry to take a quote from Mr. Blood himself, but as far as it's concerned, the promo, I believed every single word that he said. How heartbroken he is. Even when he did his interview with Wade Barrett the other week, when he said that wasn't John Cena who AA'd me through the press conference table, I believe him. I believe how heartbroken he is. I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw a meme that said R-Truth is that one autistic kid that doesn't know how to control his emotions when something traumatic happens. And I can agree with that. I've had a lot of traumatizing things happen to me in my life, and I don't know a lot how to control my emotions. Like they go all over the place. My mind just goes into a frenzy. I fully understand where R-Truth is coming from in this promo and the interview with Wade Barrett. He wants to help his hero. Even though he's older than John, he wants to help his childhood hero, bro. The part that really got me excited, though, was when he said that he's gonna beat the ever-living hustle, loyalty, and respect out of his ass. This is the truth that I have been wanting to see for quite some time, bro. That wasn't R-Truth that was talking. That was Ron Killings, bro. That was Ron. That wasn't R-Truth. That was Ron. And at Saturday night's main event, that is exactly who we're getting. We're getting Ron versus John. Ron versus John for Saturday night's main event. I am telling you, this will be the best match out of John Cena's entire title reign. That is my hot take. That is another hot take. This match is going to be the best match of John Cena's entire title reign, and R-Truth is going to be the one that's carrying it. I'm telling you. Off of entertainment alone, it's going to be the best match of his entire title reign. Let's go, Ron. Let's bring John Cena back. What's up?
Yeah, so I loved this too, but I loved it for a different reason because so many people. So BT was not a wrestling fan for this. Tommy was not a wrestling fan for this. In fact, what I'm about to mention, Tommy was only 5 years old, and Toxic was 2 when John Cena last feuded with R-Truth. And people are going to be like, wait a second.
11.
Hold on. You were not 7 because you're only 21. So this happened in 2012 or 11, I believe, when R-Truth and The Miz, Awesome Truth, went up against, at Survivor Series that year, John Cena and The Rock in a tag team match. Back when R-Truth was still doing the little Jimmy gimmick. And man, you want to talk about entertaining shit. There was a time when R-Truth was one of the most popular acts on the show and had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand with that chick. I'm sure you remember it very vividly, Snug. Back then when The Rock had originally returned, and this was going to be this was the once in a lifetime. This is before their rematch. This was the once in a lifetime where they had a build for a year. And then all of a sudden, Awesome Truth has a problem with John Cena, and who comes to the rescue to be his tag partner? The Rock. And Truth put some of the best work of his career down at that point, and he was a heel going up against Cena. So now the roles are reversed, where he's a face going up against a heel Cena. And what I loved about this is that when you look at the little Jimmy stuff, when you look at everything, and yes, Ron Killings, R-Truth, is older than John Cena. However, R-Truth is that guy who grew old but never grew up. He has that innocence about him that feels very genuine because of who he is as a person. If you've ever seen him in interviews, you ever seen people talk about him, they genuinely have nothing but positive things to say about him. They say how wholesome Truth genuinely is as a person, how childlike he is in his humor and his heart. And you can get that through the character in his promo.
Even Vince McMahon loved him. That fool doesn't like anybody.
That's the big thing. One of the most famous wrestling pictures of the last 20 years is R-Truth making Vince McMahon laugh so hard Vince closes his fucking eyes and is turning red. A freeze frame of Vince literally going, and R-Truth making him laugh. Because if there's one thing people know about Vince, shitbag of a human being, he loves comedy. And he loved his comedy wrestlers. And even that the Netflix documentary cited, Vince loved things that made him laugh, and he would try to always write things into stories that made him laugh. He wanted stuff that made him entertained. That's why he loved R-Truth. That's why R-Truth has been around as long as he has been in the WWE. Because Vince loved him, and he was very close to R-Truth. They were very good friends behind the scenes. So when I see this, and I see Truth speaking for all of the kids that John turned his back on, the line that I'm glad no one said that I'm going to get to say that I thought was the most poignant part of this. John, you say you're going to ruin wrestling? Okay, so I know what I have to do. So in order for me to save wrestling, I got to save you. Okay, I'm going to do it. And I thought that was one of the best lines ever. You want to ruin wrestling. So in order to save wrestling, I have to save wrestling. Because John Cena, for the last 25 years, when you think of pro wrestling, you think of John Cena. You just do. It's synonymous. From the 80s to the very late 90s, when you thought of wrestling, you thought of Hulk fucking Hogan. You just did. There are very few faces that pop into a wrestling fan's head that are synonymous. When you say, hey, I go to church, or I'm religious, first thing that pops in your head is Jesus. When you say, oh, I'm a Marvel fan, first thing that pops in your head is Spider-Man or Iron Man. First. You say, I love DC Comics. You think of Batman or you think of Superman. When you think of pro wrestling, you think of Hulk Hogan or you think of John Cena. Those are the first two motherfuckers that come to mind, period, point blank. You're lying to yourself if you're saying it's not true. They are the logos, the images ingrained in professional wrestling as a face of what the entity of the sport is. Period, point blank, print that shit. It's true. So in speaking of truth, the truth will set you free. The truth is, in order to save pro wrestling, R-Truth has to save pro wrestling. What a promo. As far as this being for a quick build, for those saying that this is stupid, it doesn't make sense, R-Truth doesn't deserve it. Fuck you. He's never had a world title opportunity in the last 15 years. In fact, he's earned and deserved this. He is what, Toxic?
Okay, so last week, Joe Tessitore confirmed it that this is not for the title.
It's not.
It's not for the title.
Okay, so it's not for the title. Thank you, Toxic. Scratch that from the record. It's not for the title. But this is definitely going to be the main event. So it's the first main event for Truth since, God, I think Survivor Series against The Rock and John Cena. I think this might be the first main event he's been in 13 years, 14 years. That says a lot, right? Because you have all these people coming after John, right? Not to save his soul. They're coming after him for his championship, right? That's what Cody's going to want when he comes back. That's what whoever wins Money in the Bank is going to want when they win it. That's what Randy Orton wanted, to put a notch in the belt on his title history. Truth is the only one who's coming after him just to save him from himself. That's why this story is great. Because it's not about a title. It's about a man's soul and his morality. And this guy going, I love you too much to watch you slip into the darkness, and I'm going to pull you out because no one else is trying to. They're just trying to reach out to you to grab that thing hanging from your waist. But you can leave that shit in the dark. I just want you. And that's why this is such a great story, even as short as it's been told. There's a payoff here because Truth's been talking about John Cena being his hero for 2 years now. So for people saying this is pointless, then you haven't been fucking paying attention because they've been sowing the seeds for this for 2 fucking years. I'm excited for this. As ridiculous as it sounds, I'm excited for R-Truth versus John Cena. And you know what? I don't think it's that ridiculous. In fact, I think it's a fresh matchup with a fresh change of pace, with a fresh story circumstance, and it's actually really heartwarming. And I think pro wrestling needs that levity every now and again. Tell me if I'm telling lies.
Okay, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far. I think it's only been blood. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I just
BT as well.
Yeah,
I was about
BT's
to say,
hello.
BT went this one.
Okay, Tommy, shut up. Anyways, I there's just one thing that I feel like John Cena doesn't have his soul because it's quote unquote with The Rock. No, I feel like John Cena's soul is in the championship and not literally. And when someone takes that, Cena's not gonna be heel anymore. He's gonna realize what he's done, he's gonna realize what he said, and he's gonna admit that he was the one in the wrong. And I feel like that's what Truth either Truth wants that for Cena, or he wants to take the title so he can say that. But I just think that this should be for the title because when's the last time Truth had a world championship opportunity, Mr. Bloods? Since you zero, okay, yeah, yeah. R-Truth for undisputed WWE champion. Sign me the fuck up.
All right, so I am going to say this because almost none of you have. You knew it was going to be an actual serious promo that he hasn't had in quite some fucking time. It has been a bit since the last time we saw R-Truth put out a actual serious promo. It has been a bit. But the first thing I noticed When he came out, the first thing I said, you're coming out without the mic? Your whole trademark thing of you singing your own entry music as you're coming out. For tonight, you've dropped that? Like, that's when I knew that this wasn't going to be the same old joke promo that he's put out before. That's when I knew that when he looked at this, he was looking at it under a serious eye. That he was actually trying to be serious with this. With the fact that he didn't do his little goofy entrance that he does, where he comes out and raps his own theme music on the spot. Him coming out without that mic and without him doing that showed how serious this promo was actually going to be. And I am going to call out one man. Soto, you trickster motherfucker. To explain, the ending of the show from this promo to the end, I was watching Soto's stream, in which his immediate response, as soon as Truth stopped talking, was to start to play the John Cena theme. He was playing the John Cena theme for that one point where Truth was just not talking for about 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, when he was pulling a Tommy.
He decided to play the theme, and I'm just like, you trickster motherfucker. That would have been great, but still.
He trolled you. He
trolled me, yeah. Yeah, he absolutely trolled me with that. But to go back to the promo itself, I loved it. Because as I've said, this is the first serious promo from him in a minute. It has been a bit since the last time we have seen R-Truth actually be serious. And I absolutely will say that Vince did love R-Truth. He truly did. As you guys have already said, he put in stuff that made him laugh. Oh, okay. That's happening. It's only on Blood's End, it seems. But but this is what I'm going to say. You are truly right when you say that Vince loved shit that made him laugh. It's the entire reason why Truth has been here as long as he has. It's also the entire reason why Xavier Woods had his fucking trombone. He had it out for one night and then went to the back. And this is from Xavier Woods. He truly said this. He had the trombone that one night, went to the back, and Vince McMahon was laughing his ass off. And then that is when that trombone ended up having its name and was just like a pure part of the team. He put in shit that made him laugh his ass off. And that is what I love most when it comes to Truth. It's the fact that he can be hilarious as all hell. But he also has his moments where he knows for a fact that he has to be serious. And this was one of those moments where he looked at it and was just like, this is that moment where I have to be serious with this. and I just cannot make jokes here. And I love the fact that he acknowledged that.
Right on. Well, good thing we don't have to wait very long so we can see that fucking match. As far as it being in the main event, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be the main event, but most likely because it's John Cena. But yeah, we're out of time, you guys. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was the LA Knight, the triple threat match. LA Knight won the qualifying match, but we already pretty much talked about him. So I think we're good for tonight, you guys. We will meet again probably after Saturday night's main event to talk about what happens there. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Until next time, let's get the fuck up out of here. My name is Edgar. I'm the host. Team No Ye. Goodbye.
4 letters.
Four letters. Whoa.